In this tutorial, I will show you some basics of Facepager, and I will also walk you through the procedure of using it. We will use Facebook as an example to show you how to collect information from a social networking website. Some preparations you need to complete before getting started. The first one is, of course, I will need you to download and install Facepager on your device. The second preparation work is that I would like you to create a new database. Of course, you can open an existing one, but if you are the first-time user, you really need to create a new database. Another thing is that you will need to log in using your Facebook username and your password. You might have to do this every time you open Facepager. Now let's get started. The very first thing we would like to do to start a new project would be to add nodes. The concept of nodes here is really similar to one object that we would like to start. And here we would like to start a new Facebook public page. How to locate the ID of the object. Let me go to the Facebook page. And on top of the page, I can see this page is created by Pomona. And the ID that after the app sign is actually the ID that we need. Of course, you can locate the ID here in the address bar. When you try to copy the path, Pomona, that the folder name after the major domain will be the username too. So let me copy Pomona and paste it here. Click on OK. So now I have a parent node. Within the parent node, I would like Facepager to collect some information for me. And to do that, I will create a list of nested nodes within the parent object ID. Well, we can start with browsing some presets. Facepager has some built-in tools for us to start with. We can collect information about a page. For example, the name of the page, the location, and the city of this organization, and we can see the category of it, whether it is an educational group, or it is a brand, or it could be a government page. And we can see how many followers, how many fans this page has. In this case, we are trying to collect, say, how many posts are there on this particular page. And we are really interested in the interaction with these followers. So let me show you the posts here. For the posts, we can scroll down to see, well, the information that are by default will be collected are message. Message means the information, the text information of the post. When the post was created, when the post was last updated, and whether there was some error message. Additional information that will be collected includes reaction limit. So the reactions will be the likes we did, and sometimes it could be a set sign we send. Those are additional parameters we can try. We can try to add if we want. The way to apply the presets is to click on the apply button. Okay. Once you have it down, you can see that now the parameters section within the query, this part we say it's a query panel. And within the query panel, we can set up the base paths, the resources, and the parameters. So it actually means that we will use the graphfacebook.com, that is the public API provided by Facebook. And we would like to collect information with regard to the posts. The page ID actually is the object ID that we inserted. It basically says we will use the object ID and plug this in this tags so that it will run whatever we need with specific to this page. Some parameters we have imported from the presets are the messages, the from, created, and updated time. Of course, we can add more. So the way to customize the values, the fields that we would like to customize is that we can click on this 2 dots button, and it shows us the values we would like to collect. So let me go back to the presets. Here it says we can add more information, right? So let me copy this and paste it to the fields. A reminder is that all the values, they have to be separated by a comma. So I will just add 1 comma and paste this information. And click on OK. Next, what we can customize is the time range. We can specify the beginning dates and the ending dates of the posts. So the way to do it is that we can choose the since argument and specify a date. So let's say I would like to collect all the post information starting from January the 1st, 2020. And the ending date would be December 30th. Now it looks like we have all the parameters set. But one more thing is that by default, Facepager scrapes only one page. And on one page, the default is that there were only 25 posts on one page. So we will have to specify a larger number if we would like to collect more post information. Let me just try 10 first. If there were more, since we first specified a specific date, it might not be enough. But let's assume now we have the maximum of 10 pages. Everything looks right now. Of course, we can do more settings here. We can specify whether we want at, say, a second level. This is quite handy in case we are collecting comments data. Say for the comments, I can comment on one post and others can reply to me, to my comments. So there were actually several levels of those comments. And if we think of one comment as a node, and this is the concept of node defined by Facepager, we can think of all the replying posts for level 2, right? And what if a third person replies to my commenter? Then we will have nested nodes. So the nodes level is for that specification. But in this case, we are trying to collect posts information, and we don't have to specify different levels. Let's just do fetch data. Another thing is that we will need to select the object that we would like to scrape first. In case you have several pages to scrape from, then you will need to select all pages and then click on fetch data. So you see that I have some error messages. I can read the status log from the status panel. And it says that I have a error syntax observed here. So it must be something wrong when I try to copy and paste information from the presets. So it must be the last one. All those values have to be separated using a comma, but I accidentally pasted one more from the presets. So let me do OK and delete all the error messages. I don't need them. And choose the object, do it again. So it now shows that I am collecting so many messages. But somehow it does not show me the likes, the shares, the comments. The way to show the comments is that I would like to manipulate what I can see here by set up the columns. For now, I only have the message, the content of the posts, when it was created, when it was last updated, and whether we have an error message. But we do want other information, right? So the way to customize what columns will be visible to us is that we can click on one node, and in the data view, we can see what information has been collected. We don't want to see the error message. We can get rid of this column, taking it out. And we would like to see how many reactions are there for each of the posts. And now I would like to add the total count here for reactions. The way to add it is to click on the Add Columns button and see that one column is being automatically added. Okay. We can continue this procedure and add the total count of likes at column. We can add the total count of love, total count of haha, and wow, sad, angry, likes. And those are the information that we have collected. If they're not shown here, sometimes the window will not respond at all. You will need to apply the column setup in case that nothing happened. Now we shall have everything that we need. including the reactions, the likes, the loves. Right? The next step would be let us export the data. So we can have it saved with us. Say name this Calpoly Pomona, and we can specify, since it is a comma separated file, we can specify which separator we want. Okay. By default, it's the semicolon. So let's click Save. The next step would be, let me open a Excel file. So now let's open a blank Excel file and import the data. So we want to import data from a comma separated text file, and we are trying to locate where the file is now. We'll choose the file that's been saved with us, and if that columns and rows look fine, Excel does have a very intelligent import function, so we really don't have to worry. Just click on Load. The next step would be data cleaning. So you might notice that for this export, we do have some blank rows. These rows are header information and off-cut information, say once you have a second page. So the query will pull out all the information and tells you that you have a header or you have a off-cut. The way to get rid of all those information will be that I do recommend you to do a filter. Choose the information that you would like to get rid of. Those are the ones with blank information that we don't need. And we can select all those rows and delete. Now we can go back to the filter and show all valid data. We only have one kind of posts, right? So we don't really need this information. You can get rid of it. And the query time seems we've only done one scraping. It seems like they all happen at the same time. So you can either delete them or hide them. In the query status, we really don't need those information. Let me just hide. Created time matters because we specified a time range. We can see whether web scraper has all dates covered, whether it starts from January and whether it ends in December. Next, we can customize the header. Now it is by default the parameter values in the preset. We can of course change it to say total summary. The reason we would like to change the header, of course you can do other customization too, is that for us to analyze the data, a good way will be to have a pivot table. And we can of course add, say, the time range. We can compare, where's the time? Create time. The time range, say in which month there were more posts created, right? And also we can see what other total summaries that are created per month. Of course, we can customize the values here instead of changing the original header. And thanks for watching.